Only a few fact TV shows certainly win the hearts of human beings international. One show that has completed this due to the fact that 2009 is Pawn Stars at the History Channel. It perfectly combines enjoyment, records, and negotiation. Rick Harrison, co-founding father of the Display and Shop, and worked difficult to grow and increase the pawn save business. Despite his clear determination to growth, Rick has faced many private hardships and felony battles that maximum people are blind to. Let's examine what befell to Rick Harrison and get an update on his cutting-edge condition. Richard Kelvin Harrison, famously recognized to lovers as Rick Harrison, changed into born on March 22, 1965, with the aid of Richard Benjamin Harrison and Joanne Rue Harrison. His dad and mom had 4 kids, namely Sherry, Joseph, Rick, and Chris, with Rick being the 3rd baby. Rick experienced tragedy early in existence, while he lost one in all his siblings, Sherry Joanne Harrison. Sherry, the first baby of Benjamin Harrison and Joanne Harrison, was born with Down syndrome and eventually surpassed on at the age of 6. Rick's father turned into a U.S. Navy veteran in 1967. While Harrison became 2, his circle of relatives moved to San Diego, California, due to his father's switch. Rick faced ongoing troubles while he began having epileptic seizures at 8 years antique, which left him and not using a different preference but to spend a variety of time in bed studying books. This sparked his lifelong love for books and analyzing. He in particular appreciated a chain with the aid of John D. Fitzgerald, known as the Great Brain, which featured a 10-12 months vintage Utah con artist named Tom D. Fitzgerald, who stimulated Harrison. Harrison definitely preferred physics and records. He mainly enjoyed learning about the Royal Navy from the past 1700s to the early 1800s. Harrison went to Taft Middle School in San Diego, but dropped out for the duration of 10th grade to sell faux Gucci bags for $2,000 per week. Rick and the Owen family moved to Las Vegas, Nevada in April 1981 due to the fact their dad and mom real property commercial enterprise had failed. At 17, Rick confronted every other venture when his girlfriend Kim became pregnant. Although pretty young, Rick bravely determined to include fatherhood. Sadly, the couple experienced the terrible loss of their first infant to a miscarriage. Despite this, they stayed strong and eventually were given married in 1982. They gave beginning to their first infant Corey on April 27, 1983, who later became critical to his father's enterprise. 2 years later, they thankfully greeted their second infant, Adam. Not long after Adam became born, Harrison and Kim separated in 1985. But Rick did not stay a single dad for long. Just 9 months after his divorce, he started dating Tracy. They dated for about 8 months earlier than getting married in 1986. Together, they took up the duty of being concerned for Corey and Adam. We've talked about Rick's foray into physics and history, which benefited his profession, because when his father opened a 300 rectangular foot secondhand gold and silver coin keep in Las Vegas Boulevard South in 1981, Rick's know-how in history sincerely contributed to the store's achievement as he turned into available to provide ancient backing to each piece. But at nighttime, Rick changed into repossessing motors. 5 years later, the circle of relatives relocated to a larger spot on Fremont Street. However, they needed to move once more after years due to the fact they misplaced their hire. In his autobiography, Rick defined that he and his dad had desired to exchange the shop into a pawn keep for some time, seeing it as a logical next step. But they couldn't because of a law from 1955 in Las Vegas, which best issued a limited range of pawn licenses primarily based on the metropolis's populace. So they aimed to use for a pawn license as soon because the town's population hit 250,000, and through 1989, They in the end got their pawn license after dealing with a few criminal demanding situations. That equal 12 months, the daddy and son opened the Gold and Silver Pawn Keep at 713 Las Vegas Boulevard South, not some distance from the Las Vegas Strip. At first, the father and son centered on promoting unique sports items and unique historic portions of their keep, but jewelry have become their top promoting item. Over time, their commercial enterprise grew and have become well known in Las Vegas. By 2005, they had been lending out millions each 12 months, earning hundreds of heaps in interest earnings. The following year, the store became recognized for having uncommon sports activities items with thrilling backgrounds, like a 2001 Super Bowl ring that belonged to football participant Brock Williams. They also helped out gamblers who would pawn things to get cash for fuel to go back domestic. Their growth and recognition caught the eye of the History Channel, which brought about the birth of Pawn Stars. The display premiered in July 2009. Brent Sir Bernard Law and Colby Gaines from Left Field Pictures came up with the idea for Pawn Stars. During a visit to Las Vegas in 2008, they cherished the sort of interesting and shady pawn shops. Believing that those shops could be domestic to unique characters, they searched for a own family-owned save to base a TV collection on. Eventually, they located the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop, which became less than miles from the Las Vegas Strip. This keep had already been the focal point of a PBS documentary in 2001, and Rick, the supervisor and Element owner, had wanted a display approximately his save for years. Rick had formerly seemed in an episode of Insomniac with Dave Attell in 2003. The display changed into First Pitch to HBO, who failed to just like the original idea, but they allowed it to be modified into the family pleasant style we've originally named Pawning History. It later changed to Pawn Stars to higher in shape what they were taking pictures. The name is a playful pun on porn stars. The show is filmed on the famous Gold and Silver Pawn Shop in Las Vegas, Nevada. While jewelry is the most not unusual object pawned there, clients on Pawn Stars bring in a number of vintage or antique gadgets. The keep holds over 1,000 objects in its stock. With only some accepted clients allowed internal, the Harrison family have become very famous because of the display. Many humans watched it, left superb critiques, and wanted greater, which helped the show grow and go back each year. In January 2011, Pawn Stars changed into the top-rated display at the History Channel and the second maximum-rated fact show after Jersey Shore. On June 7th, 2011, Rick Harrison released his biography, Certified to Pawn, Deals, Steals, and My Life on the Gold and Silver, which reached Wide Variety 22 on the New York Times bestseller listing through June 26, 2011. In this identical year, Rick divorced his second wife, Tracy. The following 12 months, Rick Harrison, who were divorced 2 times, introduced his engagement to Deanna Burdett, who turned into also divorced. Rick becomes satisfied with the display's fulfillment and his growing reputation amongst fanatics. He, Corey, and Chumlee seemed as themselves in an episode of iCarly titled, I Lost My Head in Vegas. 4 days later, Rick performed in Vintage Save Owner in an episode of some other series titled The Middle. Around this time, he married Deanna Burdett in Laguna Beach, California. Through this marriage, Rick won 3 stepdaughters, Serena, Kiana, and Marissa. In January 2014, Rick Harrison became the spokesperson for the Micro Touch One razor, a men's shaving product, and seemed in a TV business for it. A few months later, the History Channel premiered United Stuff of America, a show from the manufacturers of Pawn Stars that shined the mild on brilliant artifacts from important historic moments. In July 2014, the Sport Display Pawnography premiered at the History Channel, offering Rick, Corey, and Chumlee competing against contestants to prevent them from triumphing cash and gadgets from the Gold and Silver Pawnshop stock. But unfortunately, a chain of unlucky tragedies occurred to Rick and his circle of relatives,